So what I did was I'll go into Stat and I hit Edit and I entered the data. I entered both Sophie's data as well as Jen's data into L1 and L2. I put L1 as height, L2 as the head circumference, and entered that data. The next step is to go to Second Stat Plot, make sure your stat plot's on, then, so it's on, make sure it's at a scatter plot, and you just actually toggle down here. We want the scatter plot, we want X to be L1, Y to be L2, and then we're just going to make it these dots, they show up pretty well, okay? Now, the next step we need to do is I'm going to Window, and there's a couple ways I can do it. I can look at my data and say that it looks like it goes from around 50 to around 70 inches, okay? So I could put that in 50 to around 70, and we'll leave the scale as 1 inch. And then you look at Y circumference goes from around 17 to it looks like a maximum of 24, so let's do that. 17 to 24, and a scale of 1. Now there's another way you can do that. If I go to Zoom 9, what it does is it automatically, let me show you that. Zoom, and I go down to 9. Zoom 9 is Zoom Stat. What that does is automatically changes the window to best fit the data that we had. Here's our stat. I entered the data in Stat. What Zoom 9 does, okay, go back to Window, it will automatically fit the range or the window for the data that you have in Stat. Because again, Zoom, let me just go down and show you though. It's Zoom Stat. So here we are with the graph, okay? Now let's do the regression. So we go back to Stat. First we have to calculate the regression. So I'm going to hit 4, Lin Reg, the first time you're selecting it, second time you're running it. Now I'd like to see that superimposed over the data. So I go to Y equals, make sure that's cleared, vars 5, EQ, enter, graph. And the line's pretty flat, just FYI, probably meaning there's not any correlation. And I go back to Y equals, and it's 0.08, etc. You can just leave it 0.08x plus 15.0 or 15.03. So it's that simple. Go ahead and watch it again if it's not clear.